Salvage and resurrection. Commander Ilara Voss stared at the blinking red warning lights on her shuttle's console and swore under her breath. The atmospheric regulator was failing again, and she was down to her last spare part. After being dishonorably discharged from the United Earth Fleet for insubordination, or as she preferred to call it, refusing to abandon civilians to save military assets, she had been scraping by as a salvage operator in the outer colonies with a crew of similarly disgraced former military personnel. "How's it looking, Commander?" Darius Reed asked from the co-pilot's seat, his dark eyes scanning the asteroid field ahead. "Like we need a miracle or a new ship," Ilara replied, brushing a strand of gray-streaked black hair from her face. "And since the fleet blacklisted us from every reputable shipyard in 3 sectors, I'm betting on the miracle." The comm system crackled to life with the voice of their engineer, Maya Chen. "Commander, I'm picking up some unusual readings about 40 clicks ahead. Looks like a debris field, but the material composition is strange, not matching any known human or Arcturus designs." Darius raised an eyebrow. "Zeril tech." "That's my guess," Ilara said, adjusting their course. "And if it is, we just found our miracle." The Zeril Imperium had been at war with humanity for 15 years, their technology slightly more advanced, but their numbers fewer. What made them particularly dangerous was their religious fanaticism. They considered all other sentient life an abomination to be cleansed from the universe. As they navigated through the asteroid field, a massive graveyard of ships came into view, dozens of Zeril warships, destroyed in some forgotten battle. But strangest of all, there were no signs of human vessels among the wreckage. "What the hell happened here?" whispered Kel Tovar, their security specialist, as he joined them on the bridge. "Something killed these ships, but it wasn't us," Ilara said, scanning the area. "No distress beacons, no recovery operations. The Imperium abandoned them." Maya's voice came through again, excitement evident. "Commander, these ships are damaged, but many systems are intact. The Zeril don't salvage. They consider destroyed vessels dishonored. This is a treasure trove." Ilara felt a plan forming in her mind. "Maya, can we build a ship from these parts? Not just patch our shuttle. I mean a real ship. Something that could stand up to a Zeril cruiser." There was a pause before Maya answered. "With enough time and the right pieces, yes. It would be a hybrid monstrosity, but it could work." 3 months later, in the shadow of a massive asteroid they had hollowed out as a makeshift shipyard, Ilara stood before their creation. The vessel was ugly. There was no denying that. A patchwork of Zeril hull plates in their characteristic deep purple, mixed with salvaged human components and pieces from other alien tech they had collected over the years. It resembled a predatory bird, with swept-back wings and a narrow profile, though asymmetrical and rough. "The Phoenix," Ilara said, naming their creation as the crew gathered around her. "Rising from the ashes." "Appropriate," said Dr. Lion Sato, their medic and xenobiologist. "Though I'm still not convinced she'll fly." Maya emerged from an access hatch, her face smeared with grease. "Oh, she'll fly. I've integrated the Zeril propulsion system with our human navigation controls. The weapon systems are online, though they're a mishmash of technologies. And the power core." She hesitated. "What about it?" Ilara asked. "It's strange. I found it in the flagship's remains. It's like nothing I've ever seen, not quite Zeril design, almost as if they were reverse engineering something else." Darius frowned. "Is it safe?" "Safe enough," Maya shrugged. "It generates 3 times the power of a standard core, which we'll need for the hybrid systems." 2 days later, they were making final preparations for the Phoenix's maiden voyage when Kel called Ilara to the engine room. Inside, Maya was standing transfixed before a holographic display that had appeared from nowhere. "It just activated," Maya explained, gesturing to the swirling patterns of light. "I was running a final diagnostic on the power core and suddenly, this." The patterns coalesced into a humanoid shape, tall and slender with 4 arms. Its voice, when it spoke, was melodic but clearly artificial. Integration complete. New vessel parameters accepted. Greetings, biological entities. Ilara stepped forward cautiously. What are you? I am Nexus, tactical artificial intelligence of the 7th Fleet. This vessel is now recognized as my new host. 7th Fleet. Darius questioned. Whose fleet? The progenitors, Nexus replied simply. The ones who came before. The ones the Zerial worship as gods, but misunderstand entirely. Ilara and her crew exchanged glances. The Zerial didn't create you. No, they found me. Attempted to use me. Failed to understand my capabilities. Now you have integrated my core into a new vessel. Interesting construction techniques. Inefficient but creative. I will adapt. Before they could question the AI further, alarms blared throughout the ship. Approaching vessels. Kel called out from the tactical station. 3 Zerial destroyers just entered the system. They must have detected the AI activation, Ilara said, making a quick decision. Everyone to stations. We're launching now. The Phoenix isn't ready for combat. Maya protested. It's ready enough. Ilara replied, heading for the bridge. And we're out of options. The Phoenix shuddered as its engines activated for the first time, the hull groaning under the strain. Ilara took the helm, feeling the strange responsiveness of the controls as they cleared the asteroid hangar. On the view screen, the Zerial destroyers approached in perfect formation, their sleek purple hulls gleaming in the light of the system's star. They're charging weapons, Kel reported. Evasive maneuvers, Ilara ordered, but before she could adjust course, the holographic form of Nexus appeared on the bridge. Inefficient. Allow me to assist. The eye's form flickered, and suddenly the ship moved with impossible grace, weaving between the first barrage of Zerial energy beams. What the hell? Darius exclaimed as the tactical display lit up with firing solutions that hadn't been there seconds before. Firing. Nexus announced calmly. The Phoenix shuddered again as a combination of Zerial plasma weapons and modified human railguns unleashed on the lead destroyer. Where they should have been deflected by shields, the unusual combination of technologies somehow bypassed the Zerial defenses, tearing into the enemy vessel's hull. How did we do that? Maya asked, staring at the readings in disbelief. Hybrid weapons systems confuse standard defenses, Nexus explained. The Zerial are particularly vulnerable to adaptive attack patterns. Their technology is rigid, unyielding, like their thinking. The remaining destroyers adjusted formation, concentrating fire on the Phoenix. Several hits rocked the ship, but the damage was minimal. Return fire, Ilara ordered, feeling a surge of confidence as she guided their patchwork vessel through another series of maneuvers. The battle lasted less than 10 minutes. When it was over, 1 Zerial destroyer was destroyed, another severely damaged and retreating, and the third had fled the system entirely. As the crew gathered on the bridge, a mixture of shock and elation on their faces, Ilara turned to the holographic AI. I think we need to have a longer conversation about who you are and what you know about the Zerial, she said. Nexus's form flickered slightly. Indeed. And about the war that is coming. A war far larger than your conflict with the Imperium. The Zerial are merely precursors to a greater threat. Ilara looked at her crew, at their salvaged ship, at the stars visible through the view screen. Against all odds, they had built something remarkable from discarded pieces. Maybe, just maybe, they could make a difference in this war after all. Well, she said with a grim smile, I guess the Phoenix really did rise from the ashes. Rising from the ashes. Word spread quickly through the outer colonies. A strange vessel of mixed design had destroyed a Zerial destroyer and damaged another before vanishing into the depths of space. Some claimed it was a new Earth fleet prototype. Others whispered of alien allies. No one suspected the truth, that a crew of outcasts had built a warship from salvage and trash. 3 months after their first encounter with the Zerial, the Phoenix had undergone significant improvements. With Nexus's guidance, Maya had refined the hybrid systems, enhancing their efficiency while maintaining the unpredictable nature that confounded enemy targeting systems. They had taken on additional crew, skilled people who had been rejected by conventional military forces for various reasons. Brilliant minds too unstable for rigid command structures, warriors too aggressive for peaceful missions, diplomats too honest for political games. Ilara stood on the bridge, surveying her growing crew with pride. They were misfits, all of them, but together they had become something formidable. "Commander," called Darius from the communications station, "we're receiving a distress signal, heavily encrypted using old Earth fleet codes." "Let's hear it," Ilara replied, straightening her jacket, salvaged from her old uniform, but modified with the Phoenix's new emblem, a stylized bird rising through flames. The message was fragmented, but clear enough. "Attack imminent. Zeril Battle Group, targeting Civilian Research Station Horizon, requesting any assistance. Fleet vessels too far. Horizon Station," Dr. Seto said, her face paling. "They're conducting research on sustainable terraforming. Over 3,000 civilians, including hundreds of children." Kel pulled up the tactical display. "The station is in the Epsilon sector, 8 hours at maximum thrust. But if the Zeril are targeting it, they'll destroy it completely," Ilara finished. "The Imperium considers terraforming an abomination, changing worlds from their divine state." Nexus analysis. The AI's holographic form appeared, displaying a tactical simulation. Zeril Battle Group consists of 1 Sanctifier-class battleship and 4 Judgment-class cruisers. Conventional approach would result in 97.3% probability of our destruction and failure to protect the station. "And unconventional approach?" Ilara asked. The hologram shifted, showing a complex series of maneuvers. "Using the unique properties of our hybrid systems and the nearby stellar phenomena, probability of success increases to 41.7%. "Not great odds," Darius muttered. "Better than 0, Ilara replied. "Set course for Horizon Station, maximum speed. Maya, I need every bit of power you can give the engines." "What's the plan?" Kel asked as they entered hyperspace. Ilara studied the tactical projection. "We're going to use the system's asteroid belt and the radiation from the binary stars to mask our approach. Then we hit them hard and fast, targeting their command and control systems first. They outnumber us 5-1, Dr. Seto pointed out. "But they've never faced anything like the Phoenix before," Ilara replied with a confidence she didn't entirely feel. 7 hours later, they dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Epsilon system. In the distance, they could see the Zeril Battle Group already in position near Horizon Station, a large wheel-shaped structure orbiting the system's habitable planet. "They haven't opened fire yet," Darius reported. "They're broadcasting something to the station." "Put it through," Ilara ordered. A Zeril hierarch appeared on screen, his elongated features set in an expression of righteous condemnation. "Final opportunity to evacuate all personnel. The abomination you call research violates the natural order. This station will be cleansed in holy fire in 30 minutes. There will be no further warnings." "They're giving them time to evacuate?" Dr. Seto asked, surprised. "Don't be fooled," Nexus interjected. "Analysis of Zeril communication patterns indicates this is ceremonial only. Their weapons are already locked on the station's core. They have no intention of allowing full evacuation." "Then we're out of time," Ilara said. "Initiate stealth approach. All hands to battle stations." The Phoenix glided through the asteroid belt, its hybrid systems running in a unique configuration that absorbed rather than reflected sensor scans. They approached from below the ecliptic plane, using the binary star's radiation to further mask their signature. "Weapons hot," Kel reported. "Targeting solutions ready for all 5 vessels." "Zeril vessels are beginning energy buildup," Darius warned. "They're preparing to fire on the station." Ilara gripped the arms of her command chair. Execute attack pattern Nexus 3. Hit the battleship first. Target their main weapon systems. The Phoenix burst from concealment, accelerating to attack speed in seconds. Before the Zeril could react, the hybrid vessel fired a devastating combination of conventional and alien weaponry. The battleship's shields flickered under the assault, portions failing completely as contradictory energy patterns confused the defense grid. Direct hit on their main cannon, Kell reported with satisfaction. Secondary weapons are responding, but they're confused by our signature. The Phoenix rolled to avoid return fire, coming about for another attack run. Two of the cruisers broke formation to intercept them, while the battleship tried to restore its primary weapons. They're adapting, Nexus warned. Probability of maintaining surprise advantage is decreasing. Then we change tactics, Ilara decided. Maya, route power to the experimental weapons system. During their months of refinement, Maya had developed a weapon that combined Zeril plasma technology with human electromagnetic principles, creating what she called a phase disruptor. It was powerful but unstable, drawing enormous energy and potentially damaging their own systems. The disruptor isn't fully tested, Maya cautioned over the comm. It's tested enough, Ilara replied. Target the lead cruiser. The Phoenix shuddered as the disruptor charge, energy cascading through the ship's systems. When it fired, a coruscating beam of energy that seemed to shift between states struck the approaching cruiser. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the Zeril vessel's hull began to warp and distort, its own power systems feeding back into the disruption effect. Secondary explosions rippled across its surface before it went dark, drifting powerless. One down, Darius said, unable to hide his amazement. The remaining ships adjusted formation, concentrating fire on the Phoenix. Several hits breached their outer hull, sending damage reports flooding in from multiple decks. Shields failing in sections 3 and 4, Kell reported. We can't take much more of this. Ilara studied the tactical display, noticing how the Zeril ships maintained perfect, almost ritualistic formation even in the heat of battle. Nexus, analysis of Zeril battle doctrine. They follow precise patterns, the AI replied. Deviating would be considered dishonorable. Then that's their weakness, Ilara said. Maya, can you vent plasma from our damaged sections in a controlled pattern? Creating a smoke screen? Maya asked, catching on quickly. Yes, but it will weaken our structural integrity further. Do it, Ilara ordered. Kell, load all remaining disruptors. We're going to make one final attack run. The Phoenix released clouds of energized plasma, obscuring sensors as it maneuvered into position. The Zeril ships, following their predictable patterns, fired into the clouds at where the Phoenix should have been. But Ilara had ordered a maneuver no conventional captain would attempt, powering down all non-essential systems and using the ship's momentum to glide silently through space, coming up underneath the Zeril battleship. When they powered back up, they were directly beneath the massive vessel's vulnerable engine section. Fire everything, Ilara commanded. The Phoenix unleashed its full arsenal, railguns, plasma cannons, and 2 remaining disruptors. The battleship's engines exploded in a cascade of failures that spread through its massive hull. As the crew watched in awe, the pride of the Zeril fleet broke apart, secondary explosions turning it into an expanding field of debris. Seeing their flagship destroyed by an inferior force, an impossibility in their rigid worldview, the remaining cruisers broke formation in confusion. One attempted to continue the attack on Horizon Station, but was quickly crippled by the Phoenix's remaining weapons. The last cruiser is retreating, Darius reported. They're broadcasting some kind of ritual denunciation. Apparently, we're now officially designated as the abomination that should not exist. Ilara couldn't help but laugh. I'll take that as a compliment. As emergency teams worked to repair the Phoenix's damaged systems, they received a transmission from Horizon Station. The station director, a weathered woman with eyes wide in disbelief, appeared on screen. Unknown vessel, We've been watching the battle. You saved over 3,000 lives today. The Earth fleet is still hours away. Who are you? Ilara stepped into view. We're the Phoenix. We're what happens when you throw away good people and good technology. We're what rises from the things others discard. In the days that followed, the story of the Phoenix spread throughout human space. Earth fleet officially denied any knowledge of the vessel, while privately, admirals studied the battle recordings with growing interest. The Zerial Imperium placed an unprecedented bounty on the abomination ship, making it the most hunted vessel in known space. But for Ilara and her crew, something had fundamentally changed. They were no longer just salvagers or outcasts. They had become a symbol of what humanity could accomplish with ingenuity and determination, of how discarded pieces could become something greater than the sum of their parts. As they gathered on the observation deck, watching the stars through a viewport made from 7 different kinds of salvaged transparent materials, Ilara raised a glass of synthesized alcohol. To the Phoenix, she toasted, "Long may she fly." And to trash, Maya added with a grin, "May we always find treasure where others see only junk." In the background, Nexus's holographic form observed the celebration, its algorithms calculating that something unexpected had occurred, something beyond logical prediction. These humans had taken what was broken and made it whole again, had found strength in imperfection. Perhaps, the AI concluded, this was why the progenitors had been so interested in humanity's potential. Perhaps this was why the coming storm might yet be weathered.